Hello and welcome to the 8th lecture. So in this lecture, we'll speak about using navigators. To better explain navigators, I've opened a project which exists. It's a project that I've created before. So it's not the similar project that we are designing, but it's a completely different project. So I've opened this project and I'm currently on the cover page of this project. And as you can see, this project has different structures, and this project uses structures in a different manner as compared to how we use them. This was based on the customer's requirements. This project has a lot of pages, and because it has a lot of pages, it's much better to explain how to use navigators with a project that has a lot of pages than me explaining it with a project that has only one page. That's why I'm using this project as an example. So in order to open your navigators or access your navigators, you can go to View at the top where your ribbons is located. So you can click on the View tab, and then you can click on the Open, which is navigators. And then when you click on Open, you can see the various navigators that Eplan has. So in order to access the navigator, you just click on, for example, this one, Device, and that navigator will open there on the side. So navigators are essential tools for project editing. So basically, you can do a lot of editing using navigators. I myself believe that you cannot create a successful Eplan project without using navigators. Navigators provide almost all the necessary information about the project data. So for example, this one provides information about devices. And if I open another one, maybe, for example, I open another one with regards to cables. It provides all the necessary information with regards to cables. So these are the various cables that I used in this project. So, and here you can see these are all the various devices that I used in this project. So you can look at navigators like cables, which relate to cables. So you can do editing of cables. So you can also look at navigators which relate to your PLC. So for example, there is a navigator for PLC data. So if you click there and you open it, it will give you all the necessary information about the PLC. So that's the PLC that's used. Navigators allow certain project actions to be performed easier and faster. Therefore, it makes it more efficient. So I'll just close that PLC navigator, or just close that device navigator. I'll start off by demonstrating the cables navigator. So I'll just go there, click on this one. So this is a cable here. All these ones that you see here, for example, these are all the various cables used within the project. So I'll just click on that one. And once I've clicked on that one, I can right click and go to the graphic. So Eplan will go to this specific cable. So as you can see, this specific cable actually uses a blue core, and it also uses a brown core. It doesn't use a 1 and a 2. So currently it's written 1 and 2, and it's written the green and yellow. The green and yellow is the only one that's correct. You can see it as a cube and a triangle. That's correct. But these two, the 1 and 2, they're actually incorrect. So it's not supposed to be 1 and 2 there. So you can easily just right click on that one and you can assign it. And I'll just assign it to here. And I'll also click on the blue one and assign the blue one. So you can be able to do that. You can also be able to click on this other cable. So I'm not sure where this cable is located. Maybe you can see it, but I'm not sure where it's located. You can easily just click on that cable. And with your navigators open, you can just right click and you can synchronize selection. So when you synchronize selection within your cable's navigator, Eplan will synchronize directly to that selected cable. So I'll just click synchronize, and Eplan synchronizes to it. So you can see these ones, they have a cube, but they don't have a triangle. So it could mean that the cable that I have selected here, it's maybe not in my database. So if I right click on it, Let's just see if it stay on my database. Oh, the reason why it's not showing is because it's not a main function. So I'll just make it a main function. And when I go to parts, you can see that this section here is empty. So means that this cable is not in my database. So that's the reason why it's showing without a triangle. So this one is showing with a triangle because it's also part of my database. So you can use cable navigators to locate where your cables are within your project. For example, if I click on a random one like that, I can just go to graphic and there I can synchronize to it. So I can see this cable where it's located, and I can also synchronize to it in my navigators. So you can see currently here, this is a 4G 2.5, and I'm only using 2 of those cores, but I'm actually using them incorrectly. So I can just click on that one and just assign. And I can click on the second one as well and assign. So what's nice is that you can see here, the third core is not being used, and the fourth core, which is a green and yellow core, it's not being used. So Eplan notifies you by not having a cube around it to show you that it's not being used. So I wouldn't suggest you to select a cable and not use its core, because then you have a lot of cores that are lying inside your panel that are not being used. So I would rather maybe select 3G 2.5 and maybe ground the third wire. So that's what you can do with your cable navigators. You can use them like that. You can also be able to edit in terms of properties. You can edit the properties of the cable. So I'll just edit the properties of the cable. If you want to change the part number, or maybe you want to change the length of the cable, or maybe you want to add a function text. So basically I want to say this is for heating element 100, for example. And I say this cable, the length of this cable is maybe 650. So you can just click OK. So I've added more information by using my cable navigators, and I can click on a random one without even going to it. I can just change its properties. So you can change its properties without even going directly to the cable and synchronizing it and going to where it's located, like going to the graphic. So that's how you can use your cable navigators. And then you also find terminal navigators. So if you click on view, open, you also find your terminal strip navigators, here. So with your terminal strip navigators as well, you can do a lot of editing for your terminals. So you can go directly to these terminals. So this is terminal X01, and that's terminal number 401. So I can go to the graphic of that one. So I can use my navigators to go to the graphic, and I can see this terminal right here. And you can see that one, it has a cube, but it doesn't have a triangle. So I can go to that one, go to the graphic, and when I go to the graphic, I can just assign it. But it's not going to work, because if you can see on the graphical preview, is that this terminal, it's a different symbol compared to what the symbol is in the parts management. So you can change it in the parts management, or you can change this graphic that's here. So if you try to assign it, Eplan will pop up an error to say that you're assigning a different symbol. So in order to avoid that, you can maybe bring this into your schematic multiline, and maybe you can use this one instead of having that one. So you can use this one here. If I just go to the graphic, you can use this one, which has a cube and a triangle. It doesn't have a cut there because it doesn't have the part number. So if you go to properties of this one, there is no part number for that one. So that's why it's not showing the cut. And this one, it has a part number, but it has a incorrect symbol in the schematic. So maybe to correct it, I can just copy it. Okay. Just go to this one, properties, make it a main terminal, and just add part number, click OK, and say yes. And just maybe delete that one. And just go to the properties and give it a designation. So the designation will be 403. And there you go. Now it's correct. So you can do that with your navigators. That's how you can use your navigators for your terminals. So you can also arrange them. As you can see, at the moment we have it as 401, 402, 403. Then it jumps back to 200, 201, 202. So if you want to have them starting from 200 and then go to 201, 202, then it goes to 401, 402, 403. You can just right click on the terminal strip and just go to sort terminal strip and say delete sorting. So when you delete sorting, it will resort them from the lowest number to the highest number. So you can use your terminal strip navigators to do that. You can also say that if you want them to start from terminal 1 and increment to the last terminal, so basically maybe if they end at terminal 6, so it will go from terminal 1 to terminal 6, you can just right click there and go to terminal numbering. And when you click on terminal numbering, you'll say start value is 1, increment by 1, and you'll just make sure that you modify. If there's PE terminals, we want to modify them. If there's neutral terminals, we want to modify them. If there's shield terminals, we also want to modify them. So sometimes you don't want to modify your terminals for your PE. You only want to modify the normal terminals for your voltages. So you can just make sure that you do not modify that one. Or maybe you don't want to modify the neutral terminals, so you can just make sure you don't want to modify the neutral terminals. So I've made it start at 1 and I'm incrementing by 1, and I'll just click OK. And then it will start from 1 and it will increment to 6. So that's how you can use your terminal strip navigators to change terminal numbers to make sure that they appear in the correct sequence. So we also have other navigators that you can use. You can have 2D panel layout navigators. So basically when you're doing your mounting plate layout, you can also check which items are incorrectly placed. You can check all the devices that you have within your project, and you can also check which devices are placed on the mounting plate. So these devices maybe here will be placed on the mounting plate, and these ones here are all the devices that exist within your project. So it also details the devices that normally are not supposed to be on the mounting plate. For example, your thermocouples, they will also appear here. You just need to make sure that you don't put them on the mounting plate. So you can see here, if I go to this one, I can just go to graphic. And when I go to graphic, it will show the graphic. That's that relay there. So that's the relay module that's located there. And as you can see, these are the ones with the red dots. They basically mean that they are incorrectly placed, or the part number doesn't match with the part number that's in your database. So maybe you don't have this part number in your database, so that's why it's showing the red dot, or maybe because it's incorrectly placed on the mounting plate, that's why you see that red dot appearing there. Or maybe also as well, in your parts database, you have specified that this item, it's not supposed to be placed on the mounting plate. It's a field device, so it needs to be mounted in the field and not on a mounting plate. But then here you have it on the mounting plate. So Eplan can pop up that red dot there and say that something is not correct. So you can try and fix it by looking at what's incorrect. So you can view for other devices as well. So you can view with your terminals as well. You can go to the graphic and see where's that terminal from your mounting plate navigator. And then you also have other navigators as well. Maybe for your device list, you also have the bill of material. So the bill of material, it's also nice if ever there's one item that you kept on using. So maybe, for example, I kept on using this terminal. The customer now says I should change to a different terminal, and I was actually using this type of terminal. Now the customer doesn't want this terminal. He wants actually a terminal that's not a push-in, but a screw type of terminal. So you are able to use your bill of material, which details all the materials that's used in your project. So you are able to just right click on that terminal and just go to properties. And once you're in properties, you can go to parts. And when you're in parts, you can just right click on those three dots. And once I've right clicked on those three dots, it will open all my parts. So I'll just randomly select another terminal. For example, I'll just select that one. You see it's a different terminal. If you just view your graphical preview, you can see that it's a different terminal. So I'm changing throughout the project. We have been using a different type of terminal, which is the previous one here. We've been using this one. So I'm changing to a random one, which is not the 3031445, but I'm changing to a 2777072. Using my bill of material navigator, I'm changing all these terminals. So I'm just clicking OK for that one. And I'll just, Eplan will pop up this conflict. I'll just say OK. And I'll change all the terminals that I used. I'll change to this type. So I'm not using the 1445. I'm now using the 2777. So I'll just click OK. And then it changes all of these ones that we previously used. So it changes them to the 2777. So that's how you can use your bill of material navigator to change some materials quicker, instead of going to each individual terminal. For example, instead of me, let me just go to the graphic. Instead of me going to this terminal, clicking on it and changing it under parts, and then going to the next one, clicking it and changing it under parts, I can just change it in the bill of material navigator. So it's even much faster and much efficient than just having to highlight all of them and right click, go to properties and changing them here. So it's actually much efficient to just change them in the bill of materials navigator. So you can use the bill of material navigator to do that. You can also use some other navigators to do certain work as well, to change, just like with your plugs, they're the same with your terminal strips. You can use your PLC navigator to change your I/O, so to assign different I/O addresses to the PLCs. So you can use your PLC navigator to do that. You can also use your interruption points. So basically, this is what we call an interruption point. So as you can see, this interruption point has no reference, so it leads to nowhere. And these ones leads to installation site A016, and it leads to page 3, column 1. So you can use your navigators for interruption points. So I'll just synchronize that one. So it's this one here. So it's currently on this page and it's going to this page right here. So you can just go to graphic. And as you can see, you can use your connection interruption point navigators. So you can change what the property name is, or the display DT. You can change it to a different value, and then you can assign it for other ones as well. So that's how you can easily do it. And that's how you can easily see if there's conflict, or if there's a direction that's going that way to the right, but there's no other one that's going to the left. For example, if we go to this one, that we say it doesn't have a second source. So we'll just synchronize that one. So as you can see with this one, it's going to the right, but it has no other connection to it. So there's nothing that's going to the left. So it also always has to be like this. Otherwise, it has no other second form of connection. Your interruption point needs to have a head and a tail. So if it doesn't have a head and a tail, means that it's connected, but it's not going or not referencing anything. So that's how you can use your interruption points navigators to do reference connections. So there's different navigators. I won't go through all of them, but yeah, you can use your navigators to achieve a perfect project and make sure that everything is well formed and it's in the state that you want it to be in. So thanks very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.